Welcome back to the moral decay of America. And holy snot balls, we got some confusion or continued confusion going on out there in America. This crazy bat lady right here, Miss Hillary Clinton, I'm pretty confident most of y'all know who she be. But at the end of the day, she still thinks that ex-President Trump and future President Trump is a threat to our society here in America. So let's touch base on some of that. But before we do, if you're easily offended, I may say something that may offend you, whether it be a sexual joke, a comment, whatever it may be. If you're easily offended, please just do yourself a favor and get the hell out of here. I don't need you watching. But if you want to be slightly entertained and give yourself something to think about, that's why we're here. So, now, with all that being stated, let's see here. Why would ex-President Trump and future President Trump be a threat to the society of the United States of America? Well, let's just say, first and foremost, let's just look at some of the elephants in the room. Some of those elephants are, hey, our country's not protected, except for by military. However, the military is protecting other countries' borders, but we're not protecting ours with military lethal force. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, the use of lethal force should be authorized if you're trying to invade a country. That use of lethal force should be a defense mechanism for which we have laws that say, hey, you have right to self-defense. And if someone is threatening you with deadly weapons, deadly use of force, we have the right to use deadly force to defend ourselves. How come we're not doing that with the border? I guarantee you, them some bitches coming up seeking asylum, and that's the only word they got to tout is, oh, we've been seeking asylum in your country, and we've traveled and walked thousands and thousands of miles to get here, my ass. Doesn't make any sense. And all they got to do is, oh, asylum, I'm seeking asylum, and then we, by law, have to just let them in. That's crap. That's not a threat to our society. During the great debate of Camel Toe Harris and Kamala Harris, for those who were offended by the Camel Toe reference there, but I don't give a shit, Trump made a comment that the Haitians that were implanted or imported into a small tiny town there in Ohio that no one knew anything about, but he did. You didn't see none of this on the national news or the mainstream medias per se, because they all hate Trump for whatever reason. Why do various organizations hate the man so much? But he brought up Haitians eating animals. Well, first and foremost, again, is that true? Everybody doubted the man. Everybody doubted the man. But conveniently, that night after he put that into the presidential debate, you could see all of the live camera footage, even though the ABC commentator there was arguing against him, saying, oh, well, we tried to squash that because we spoke to the city manager. Well, of course, the city manager is not going to say that his town of imported illegal son bitches is eating people's pets and eating ducks and geese that are freely or were freely walking around the parks and stuff for food. Why would he put that out there? He could not confirm it via the city manager. You, just as a moderator, Mr. ABC moderator dude, who's not going to get the privilege of having his name on my show, just verified everything that Trump was saying. And the fact that you wanted to argue against him because your news channel did not want to put that on the news, don't want the American public to find out, ain't that a threat to our society? Ain't that a threat? So there's two threats right there by mainstream medias and an influx or an inflation or a invasion, I think is the better word for it, the proper word for it, of our country on the southern border, as an example. But listen to Hillary Clinton here. This is why we're here. She's thinking out loud, and she's getting here on MSNBC, as you can see, attention, and she has no value to the country at all. She's not a congressman, she's not a senator, she's not a department head, she's a nobody, just like I am. Except for she's got a history, where my history is just a common citizen out here doing my middle class job, and I'm not a millionaire. So let's listen to what this crazy lady thinks about why and how Trump is a threat to our society. Listen to this crazy lady. Here we go.
I don't understand why it's so difficult for the press to have a consistent narrative about how dangerous Trump is. The late, great journalist Harry Evans, one time said that, journalists should, really try to achieve objectivity. And by that, he said, I mean, they should cover the object. Well, the object in this case is Donald Trump. His demagoguery, his danger to our country and the world, and stick with it. They were merciless about what they saw as President Biden's, problems in the debate and calling for him to withdraw. I believe Donald Trump has disqualified himself over and over and over again to be a presidential candidate, let alone a president. The second thing, though, is that part of what Trump is counting on is for people to get desensitized.
So, the thing is, there's no real qualifications there that are needed or warranted, because show me where those qualifications are in our Constitution, right? If these have to be qualified candidates, I'd like to know where's the qualification list, because Biden, who is quote unquote not a threat to our society, not a demagogue, one of his two minimal qualifications was, one, to be a VP for him had to be a female, and then number two, had to be a person of quote unquote color. Well, that's racist and sexist right there off the spot, but yet that's okay for the Democrats to do that. But if a Republican comes across and tries to put those kind of qualifications, hey, you must be white and you must be male before I'll even consider you, they would shit themselves. They would. They would wet their pants so bad and throw the race card, throw the misogyny card, throw every other excuse out there, but yet they do it themselves. And people follow it and go for it. And I just don't understand it. That was part of his qualifications. He did the same thing, the exact same thing for his qualifications for Supreme Court justice. Had to be a female, and had to be a female that's not white, aka a person of color. Again, whatever the F that means. But the point being, Democrats say one thing and do what they say they're against. And yet half the country supports that and doesn't recognize the hypocrisy. So you tell me, as you're going out to vote here in 2 months, who are you going to vote for? Why are you going to vote for them? Between the two candidates that are out there, between Kamala, the Chameleon Harris, and Donald J. Trump, Trump will get my vote. Trump will get my vote because he has ethics in regards to sticking to his guns, in regards to not changing. To say 3 years ago, oh, I just wasn't informed, blah, 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 and then you try to change your political stance, well, no, then your political stance had no ethics, no morals, no structure. You are what's the decay of society. You are what the threat of society is. And you don't even want to recognize that. That's bad. That's bad. We have the rule of law, to quote Miss Campbell Toll Harris during the last presidential debate. Rules of law. She said that more than once, I think, if I recall. But yet, she was the border czar. She was brought in to secure the border, and that was her primary job, and yet we had the most illegal immigrants ever, documented illegal immigrants, in the history of our country. Who, once again, is threatening our society? I don't think it's Donald J. Trump. But let me know in the comments. Y'all be safe out there. They walk amongst us.